Well, hello, my friend, and welcome. Today we have a very, very special treat for you. We've got a guest who is internationally known. She has been described as the Pied Piper of Facebook. She actually is co-author of a phenomenal book, which you can get at Amazon.com, called Facebook Marketing. Was recognized also as one of the top 20 all-stars in social media, and my personal belief is she is the definitive go-to person for Facebook marketing. And we have today Mari Smith. Mari, welcome so much today.
Thank you. Thanks, Terry. Good to be here with you.
Well, you know, as they say in Texas, Mari, you ain't from around these parts, are you? Tell everybody a little bit about, where you're from and how you got on this journey called Facebook.
Sure. I'd be happy to. So I was born in Canada, but both my parents are Scottish. So they both born in Scotland, but met and married in Canada. So I'm Canadian by birth, but totally Scottish, my heritage. And I lived in Edinburgh for 20 years. And then I came to San Diego, California, just out of the blue. Some long lost friend invited me in 1990, so 11 years ago. And so I'm a bit of a hybrid. I've got tri-nationality. I'm Scandifornian. So, quite the mixture. And so when I first came to San Diego in 99, my brogue was really quite thick. I rolled a lot of the R's, and I came to the States and started to bring back my Canadian just subconsciously. So say a lot of out and about and A. So, but my passion, my background has always been in the world of people and technology. And I look back over the diverse career that I've had, and I left school real young. In Scotland, you can leave school at 16. So I was actually at 15. And I turned 16 a few months later at my first job. I didn't want to go to college. I didn't want to go straight to the workforce. So throughout my varied career in sales and marketing, and for many years I was a secretary when I first left school, like my mom. I always wanted to be able to type really fast like my mom. So, but I've always been fascinated by people, and I've studied the different personality assessments. I really love to understand what makes people tick and what makes us different. And when we view the world a certain way, why does this person over here view it so differently? Well, there's assessments and instruments that help us put language right to those differences. So, and I've always loved technology and the internet. And for many years, I was pursuing a dual career, in fact, when I came to the States as a relationship coach and also as an internet marketer. And then in 2007, those two paths fortuitously merged, and I just kept following my heart, and sure enough, eventually I am where I am today. I'm an overnight success, 10 years in the making.
I love that about you. I truly see you as one of today's and really one of the 21st century's most influential women out there, and it's because of Facebook, and leadership is all about influence. And as I said earlier, I really see you as the go-to person for anybody who has anything about questions or needs about Facebook. But let's talk a little bit about some of your core values, and you kind of touched on it just a second ago. Could you share some there for us?
Yeah, I'm a great believer in taking what some friends of mine call radical personal responsibility. So I am never going to point fingers of blame and or go, oh, woe is me, and why is this happening to me? Because I really understand that everything I've created in my world, or everything that shows up in my world, physical, non-physical, people or circumstances, things, money, whatever, all of that is a direct reflection of myself and how I feel about myself. So one of my core values is personal growth, and my spiritual pursuits are very, very important to me. And my life and career took on a significant upturn, about a year and a half ago now. I chose to transition my marriage. I speak very openly about that. I was married for 8 years, and it just wasn't the right path for us anymore. So, and I actually blogged about it openly, and I think that that's something that is very much in alignment with the way that social media is becoming so prevalent, is that people are willing to be open, they're willing to share, they're willing to be more vulnerable, transparent, authentic. Keith Ferrazzi, the author of Never Eat Alone, and he has another book out too, and he talks about how authentic, this word gets bandied about a lot. Authentic, so authentic is just a gussied up word for raw. So I was like, yeah, like just being raw, just being real, just being, hey, I'm going through some stuff right now and being able to share at the same time. And this really goes for, all your listeners and your viewers. I think that privacy is, and it's certainly been in the news a lot lately with Facebook and the way that they view privacy or not, that it's crucial, even though I'm really very open person and very raw person, that I still have a category of my life over here, that I anything that I do not want to be propagated throughout the world, I just don't share. It just doesn't go online, and just doesn't. And so that's something that's very important to me. So I think that when people approach, social media to be creating a presence, and I really appreciate what you said about influence, and then influence is something that, an area that I'm always fascinated by. And for those people that understand the DISC model, the DISC is a 4-quadrant personality assessment, and the I does stand for influence. And I'm like a 98% I, as I love people, I'm an extrovert. And I actually I have another book coming out later this fall, called The Relationship Age, and I talk in that book about are influencers born or made? Can you emulate the qualities of an influential person? And I actually think that you can. Some people have more natural propensity, but there's certain actions that you can take, and in being consistently visible and being on track, being focused, not being really diversified and having what I call multiple hat syndrome. So when people think of you, they're thinking, what does that person do again? I don't know. They do so many things, right? So those are some elements of really staying focused to be top of mind. Be top of mind when people think of something that they need help with. They think of you because they know your expertise.
Right. How big is Facebook, Mari, and how important is it for people in network marketing to, I don't want to say master it, but really utilize it?
Okay, sure. Yeah, it's 500 million. They haven't officially made the public announcement, but they will very shortly. They're going to make the 500 million announcement. And I think they're ahead of their predictions, or what the pundits were predicting where they would be. And I don't know. I think I joke about, I think in our lifetime we'll see Facebook having, 6 billion members at some point. So they are the number one. They're the largest. And so when you think about that vast amount of people, 500 million, half of which, so 250 million people, every single day sitting down in front of their computer or their phone, the iPhone, smartphone, whatever smartphone they have, BlackBerry, to look up and access Facebook mobile. About 130 million people access Facebook via their mobile. So 250 million, 250 million come onto Facebook every single day, without question. And for an average session time of 55 minutes. That's people are on for a few minutes and people are on for hours and hours and hours. And so with network marketers, it's very, very much a relationship-based business. It's adding value. It's contributing to people with no agenda, whether they're going to buy from you or sign up on your downline or whatever. It's just like building those relationships. And some key things you can do. A friend of mine does this. That say he's reaching out to someone he really wants to build a relationship with. He'll look at their Facebook profile, scroll down to their favorite movies, pick one of those movies, go to eBay and purchase some kind of paraphernalia, some kind of memorabilia from the movie set and send it to the person as a gift.
Wow.
Because all this information is available to us freely. People are sharing their Facebook their information on Facebook, so that allows us to build more relationships and get to know people better, right?
Wow, that's pretty creative.
Yeah.
I love that. Well, tell me a little bit about you and your driving force, your passion, because you definitely have a passion for Facebook. It's like in your DNA now, I think, You're hardwired for it. Talk a little bit about the importance of a passion and a drive as it relates to developing a business and a brand for yourself.
Absolutely. Now, it's funny, I'm very dear friends with Chris and Jana Atwood, and they wrote a book together called The Passion Test, and you can take thepassiontest.com and get a free passion test, but it's crucial to really be following your bliss, as they say, following your heart, and that you love something so much you would do it 24/7 even if you got paid for it. Gary Vaynerchuk is another great example in his book.
Yeah, he's a wild man, isn't he?
Yes, he is. I don't know anyone more crazy and passionate than him. What a speaker. If you ever get a chance to see him speak, So, but yeah, Gary's he's the epitome of passion and of really hard work. And I think that it's a bit of a myth that if you just, follow your heart and your passion, the money will come. You do have to have something that is monetizable, that there's some demand for it. And that's
Right.
something you can do easily on Facebook, is actually just go as if you're going to be purchasing an ad down at advertising at the bottom, and you can skip past step 1 to create the ad, go down to step 2 and start playing around with all kinds of different parameters such that you can see, who's in the demographics that you're targeting. But the passion part and the DNA of the Facebook, I'll never forget the day. It was like one of those defining moments in life when this guy friend of mine here in San Diego, and I'm known as, somebody who's very much the people and the technical person, and he, a friend of mine had said, you got to talk to Gary. He's got this new Facebook app. And I'm thinking, Facebook, I'm on eAcademy and Rise and LinkedIn and MySpace. I'm a natural networker. I'm a social butterfly. What do I need another online social network? None of these other ones have ever done anything for me. So it's kind of a little bit resistant at first.
Right.
Oh, God, whatever, Facebook, right? And so, but I'll never forget the day I go and I pull up Facebook.com and I'm like, whoa, something is different. Something is profoundly different. And this was before I'd even set up an account. Just the look, the feel, the white space. It was like Zen. It was like the antithesis to MySpace. And then once I joined and I got my account and I set it all up, I had the news feed. What a brilliant invention. And then I could reach out to people and books, all the different books and tapes and CDs and the seminars I'd gone to over the years to different influentials. And wouldn't you know it, I'd reach out, send a friend request, we're chit-chatting. It's like we're long-lost buddies. And so now these people are calling me up and I'm doing interviews with them and I'm meeting them in person. And it's like all of a sudden this like level playing field. There's no middleman, there's no gatekeepers, there's no secretaries to try to jump through and connect with people. So it's just, there's no other platform that can achieve what Facebook can. And just as Mark Zuckerberg himself says, with a world that's more connected and is more open and sharing, that we really can solve world problems.
Yeah. Well, Facebook is changing, I know, very, very quickly. And I know when you and Chris were about to publish your book, Facebook started changing some of the things that were going on internally. Talk a little bit about the mindset of an entrepreneur, and how do you deal with change? And, we have a plan, we're going down, and all of a sudden it's like poof. Somebody just changes all the rules. How do you adapt? And how does somebody who is in network marketing, number one, keep up with Facebook, but number two, handle all those challenges and changes that take place in most people's lives?
Great question. I love where you're going with this, Terry. The thing is that, and I'm weaving in some of my personal and spiritual belief systems that first of all, there's no competition, none whatsoever. Nobody can be you. There's Dr. Seuss says there's nobody youer than you, right? So, and especially in the business you're talking about, well, whatever, business, but network marketing, you could be saying sometimes they're selling commodity, but they're not, because people buy people first.
Right.
And the most successful people in network marketing that have a terrific downline and they do trainings and they go above and beyond whatever the company offers and they really take care of their people. Those principles are fundamental. Caring with a passion about your people, whether they're your neighbors, your family, your downline, your Facebook friends, your Twitter followers. That is a fundamental constant that will never change regardless of what chaos is going on in the social media world or Facebook changes. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So whatever your own personal values are and your attributes, and you really play to your strengths too, and you also want to have certain sources where you can go at the flip of a switch. You can think, okay, what's happening now? I need to quickly get up to speed, and those would be like Mashable, and specific to Facebook, Mashable.com. Specific to Facebook would be allfacebook.com, Nick O'Neill's site, or InsideFacebook.com, Justin Smith's site. And a great site that I actually guest blog for as well is Social Media Examiner. They tend to be pretty impartial, and they're very much just focused on social media. Mashable used to be just social media and got so big they do a lot of other news and posts as well. But knowing that you can sleep peacefully at night, knowing that other people are doing the hard legwork for you, and you have all those different blogs, maybe a half a dozen top blogs that you subscribe to in Google Reader, and you're just going to go and look at your headlines each day. Maybe have someone on your team too, and have someone on your team be an aggregator, so that they bring to you, okay, Terry, here's the top 10 things you need to know about right now, or here's the number one piece of news in our industry that's being talked about. So, and there's even systems. I mean, depending on the level, you've got something free and easy like socialmention.com, right on up to enterprise level radian6.com with a number 6. That will do tracking of the brand sentiment and monitoring of what's being said about the company across all platforms on the internet.
Let me ask you this question, Mari, and it's kind of more of a personal question about you in terms of I heard you say that you're into personal development. It's obvious by the way you talk, which I love.
Thank you.
What have been some of your biggest challenges as you have, I guess, positioned yourself or developed yourself as this Facebook guru? Can you think of anything there? And then how did you handle that? Again, getting inside your head so other people can benefit from when they have those challenges. What do they do?
Sure. Two things come to mind, and one is when you social media by its very nature is very visible. I mean, you could have a private group on Facebook or a protected account on Twitter or whatever, but I don't see the point in that. It's all about being open and getting the value of the visibility and the search engine optimization. So one of the things for me early was watching other people in this industry very quickly attempt. Now, you notice I'm choosing my words very carefully because I just like to respect all human beings. And so there's individuals who have a completely different style to me, and they would be coming from the approach of, here's how to make gazillions of bucks overnight on Facebook, and here's all the tricks, and here's how to just tag all your friends in a Facebook note, and they don't care if nobody's mentioned in the note. It's just like they're all focused on the numbers and the techniques, and those kinds of approaches always bothered me, and I wanted to be able to emphasize rather than I just always think you never make yourself look good by trying to make other people look bad. There's no need to bash other people. You just keep shining and really by example, but also by showing, demonstrating to people, here's why I personally prefer never to tag someone in a note, picture, video, if they're not mentioned in it. What's the point? Facebook will give you the little notification, so-and-so just commented on a video of yours, or you're mentioned in, and you go to the video and you're not mentioned in it. So those kind of things are just, simple. So that was like early in the day. There were certain individuals who are very competitive and very much focused on the numbers. And I really think in marketing in any industry, there's two types of marketers. One is the numbers-based marketer, and they're focused a lot on, the dollars and the size of your group and following, whatever. And then there's a heart-based marketer, really coming from the heart. They're serving the people. The interesting thing is you actually need a balance of both because the numbers are important. You can't ignore the numbers. You can track your metrics, look at your bottom line, all that, and care about people. So it's not necessarily one or the other. So that was the number one thing early on. I was cognizant of who were my, quote, competitors, even though I could contradict myself, just saying there are none. But at the same time, you have to be aware of who else is doing what in your marketplace and how are they presenting themselves. The second thing I started to say about just being so visible is that I had a vision about 2.5, 3 years ago to launch an association. I wanted it to be an international association of social media professionals, so people that had been trained, that had qualified, that had certain credentials, and that this would be a body of people that people were looking to hire certain trained professionals could look to, and also be a source of knowledge and information. And finally, I launched that organization last fall in conjunction with a business partner. And actually, because our book had already gone to print, it says so in my bio on the back. But the date, now I forget the exact date, but within the last couple months, it became clear that kind of like a divorce, we wanted to transition and dissolve, and unfortunately it was very difficult to do publicly.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, something, again, back to that thing, when you know and you're acting in full integrity with yourself and your values and your heart, and then you can just march forward and weather any storms. And yeah, I got some flack for it, but I'm marching ahead, and like I say, I can't, it's that old adage, right, that you can't please all the people all the time, but you can please some of the people some of the time. So.
That's right. And it's like I told my kids years and years ago when they were like under, like 2 or 3 years old, what people think of you is none of your business, as long as you're coming from a place of integrity, right?
That's true.
Yeah, it is. It is. And that has served them so well. You talked a little bit about your vision back then. Share a little bit about your vision as a leader, as a marketer, on what you want to accomplish in the next maybe 2 to 5 years.
Sure. My heart is really going towards an aspect that I thought of over a year ago now. I had the great fortune of working with people like Jack Canfield and the organization, the mastermind he created called the Transformational Leadership Council.
Mm-hmm.
And it's an absolute phenomenal body of individuals who are luminaries, they're light workers, they're inspirational leaders, and they have, most all of them already have a platform. And I was very blessed to go in and support many of the members in starting to learn and integrate and master social media. And I just had this flash back then, it was over a year ago now, and I thought, I want to focus on what I'm calling conscious social media. And in fact, I went immediately out and bought the domain, conscious social media, because where I'm going in the next 3 to 5 years, and this could involve even a television talk show, is to actually empower and train and inspire others to use social media for good, to use social media to make a positive difference on the planet, to be really mindful about what it is that you're putting out there. Does it contribute to others? Does it help to elevate the consciousness of the planet?
That's amazing. I feel goosebumps, Mara, I tell you. I'm definitely going to be watching you for that.
Yeah, it's exciting. I don't really know exactly what it looks like. I just know that I want to really have people be thinking more about what are they putting out there. There's something big negative going on. Is like, I don't know, even like the other week there, people were getting really upset at Facebook for the privacy, and there's this big campaign, quit Facebook Day. No, quitting isn't the answer. You're only just spiting yourself. So.
Yeah. Let me ask you this question. What is or what are some of the biggest mistakes you see network marketers making as they try to implement their Facebook marketing or to use Facebook as a tool in their marketing?
Yeah, well, some of the mistakes are not allowing enough lag time or lead time to be able to build up a connection and rapport and a trust. We can do so much, much faster because of social sites like Facebook. So, but one of the mistakes I would see is people adding someone as a friend, they get confirmed, and then one of the first things they do, and I've seen various ranges from very aggressive to, subtle, but still it's kind of got that agenda woven through it, and it would be like plastering something on someone's wall, and I'm so glad we're friends, and click here to check this thing out or whatever. So I think that that's a big no-no, and I think that the more that you can contribute to people and really show a genuine interest, like I was saying earlier, my friend that looks at people's favorite movies and buys them a gift. You don't have to go to that extent, but you could look at someone's favorite movies, or certainly look at their recent news feed, look at their recent feed on their wall and see what's happening in their lives, what's something you could comment on. In fact, one of the best practices, or not necessarily practice, but a strategy, is to create a friend list with your top maybe 25, 30, 50 contacts, and so then you can view your news feed, every day, just with a subset of maybe you have.
So just seeing those individuals.
Yeah, focusing on, because the 80-20 rule, you have 5,000 friends, and I recommend, in fact, to people, I think with network marketing in particular, because it's very much a one-on-one, and people are going to buy into coming and deciding to join you in your downline. They're going to need to resonate with the product, obviously, but they've really got to resonate with you first and foremost. And I think that of all industries, network marketing is best if they as they work on each individual relationship, as opposed to, I mean, ultimately they probably want to have a fan page, and then there's going to be different company policies of how they can represent. If they're a distributor
Right.
for a certain organization, you know, the company should be saying, okay, you can use our logo here, but not here, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think the profile, highly recommend that the personal profile. Your goal over time is to max out, to get up to maybe like 4,900 friends, keep a bit of a buffer in there, and be really strategic and mindful about who you're adding as friends. And then you can this is one of my secrets to my success over the last several years. When I first got started, I was very specific about who I chose to friend, and at the same time, I was very specific about everything I was sharing, every single little photo, video, status update. I'm thinking, Richard Branson might be reading this. Oprah might be reading this. So it's like whatever level, like the highest level you can think of someone who could help you to elevate your business to the next level. Think about them reading your Facebook profile, your updates.
Any suggestions or recommendations on how people can use Facebook as a lead generation tool, where they can have like opt-ins or anything like that, and where would those be?
Yeah, absolutely. So you can actually, I have an opt-in box on my personal profile too. On the personal profile, I would add an app, something like either Extended Info, it's called, Extended Info, or Profile HTML. And that'll make sure it shows up on your wall over underneath where your friends are. And just put a real simple opt-in box, but tell people what they're getting when they sign up. Not just join my mailing list or, get a free gift. Tell people, make it enticing, a nice, irresistible offer. And maybe even, some friends of mine would offer like a free CD in the mail, and it might cost you a few dollars, but you're going to get that person's mailing address too. Now you're building a much more robust database. And so that would be the personal profile. But then over on the fan page, and I would highly recommend for network marketers that they would have a fan page in their own name.
Right.
Because over time, when you do hit that ceiling of your 5,000 friends, you're really going to want to have a place that you can really just focus on business and have unlimited fans. And start it sooner than later. I think there's a myth out there. People think that you've got to wait till you've hit the 5,000 ceiling, then you start a fan page. But no, I start right away. And that you'd add the app called FBML, which stands for Facebook Markup Language. And you'd use, ideally, you want to have a form that's coming from Aweber, Constant Contact, whatever system you use to collect emails. I saw something the other day that somebody was using like Google Forms. You could use a simple Google form, but they're not really like opting into an official email system that way.
Right.
You really want to start the way you mean to go on and have an official system. And then, ads, Facebook ads is the most targeted traffic your money can buy. You might want to set aside a small budget, first daily budget, and just experiment. Split test like crazy. You got to just adjust it. The picture is the most important aspect of an ad. It will catch people's eye and draw them in and make them decide whether to click through or not. You could just advertise your fan page initially to start to give it a boost.
Yeah. Any other suggestions or tips in terms of daily habits or weekly habits for people to do if they had like an hour a day to market? What would be some of these essential key things that somebody should do every day?
On the personal profile, ideally you want to scan through your news feed. Ideally you're looking at your friend list that you created, your influential friend list.
Right.
And looking for things like comment like. I just take you a few minutes. Acknowledge people's birthdays. Look at your birthday list and write a nice greeting. I always like to go again, a little above and beyond, and not just you see this huge row of happy birthdays. Think about, well, how can you make yours a little different, a little more personalized? A lot of people delegate that. I prefer not to. End up missing birthdays sometimes because of that, time constraints. But so then obviously look at your own wall and make sure everything's good there. Add your own status update. You might have sources to find that. You can actually even pre-program that for days, weeks in advance using a site like Hootsuite, HOOTSUITE, Hootsuite.com, and have your tweets and your for Twitter, your personal profile, your fan page, have it all. You just kind of be relaxing and knowing that information is going out. You've got content being published. Then over on the fan page, you want to have a strategy for having the content. Maybe you're going to have like 3 to 5 pieces of content a day going onto your fan page, and then coming back, checking, depending on the number of fans and the traction that you're getting, that you'd want to be coming back and as promptly as you can responding to people's comments and questions. Ask questions too. A lot of my clients and students will say, gosh, Mara, how do I get people to be more engaging? And I think questions are polls, and sometimes try to go a little off the wall too. It doesn't have to always be like directly related to your industry. Could be, like I love the show So You Think You Can Dance. And so, I don't know, you might put something on there about, what's your favorite TV show or something, and you'd be amazed at what people would share.
Yeah, it is. I have to tell you a funny story. I have this garden that my wife and I have been growing in. Yesterday, I got a bunch of broccoli, and so I put it on my little island, and I took a picture of the broccoli and the lettuce. So I decided to have broccoli for dinner. So, you got this big old, I don't know, it's not a head or a flowerette, but it's that big thing, and then you cut the little flowerettes off there, and I washed all those really good, and then I boiled the broccoli. And when I looked in there, I saw like 6 little worms. So I put a question on my stream, and I said, so I got this broccoli, I cleaned it, I cooked it, and I saw 6 little worms. What did I do? Did I eat them, or what did I do? And it was just amazing how people says, oh God, I hope you threw it away. And then another person says, well, at least they're organic and there's no pesticides on it. But you're right. It is so fascinating to see people interact on these non-business things at all. And it's kind of like you said earlier. It's about being real. It's about being human and like taking off the mask and, having some fun at the same time. So
exactly.
Yeah, I just love Facebook like that. Mari, how can people get in touch with you and follow you?
Sure thing. Yeah, my main site is at marismith.com, MARI Smith.com, and Facebook fan page is facebook.com/Mari Smith, and Twitter is twitter.com/Mari Smith. Those are the best 3 places to reach me.
Awesome. And I know you and Chris did a fantastic webinar, and I took pages of notes today on that.
Good.
And yeah, that's right. And in the back of the book, I know there's a website, and I'll actually paste this link. It's fanpageworkshop.com. So if people purchase the book, they go to Amazon, right, to get that, and then they can, because that's a 3 series. The book says it's a 2 series, but you guys kind of over-delivered again and decided to make it 3, right?
You're right. It does say 2-part. I guess I enrolled Chris into doing one more because I thought we'll do 2 content and then we'll do 1 Q&A. But yeah, it is. It's definitely 3. And the replays are up indefinitely, and we've done our best to include as much evergreen content. The nice thing about the replays is the book really comes alive when you see us, our mouse moving around and bringing up examples and case studies. So fanpageworkshop.com, and I really appreciate it. I'm glad that you got some value.
Oh, absolutely. It was fantastic. I look forward to it next week. I wish it was tomorrow instead of next week, though. But it gives me time to do more reading and study. Mari, I want to thank you so much for spending time today. I know you're super, super busy. And if you could make one bold request of people who are watching this video, so you absolutely knew without a shadow of doubt that you touched them and impacted their life in some way, what would that request for them to take some sort of action be?
Oh, gosh. Well, I like to say this, that whatever your spiritual or religious beliefs are, that God did not give you a dream that you cannot manifest. So whatever is inside of you compelling you, maybe it's a thought, maybe it's a feeling, maybe it's just you keep getting these ideas every day, or you're thinking, I should really take action on that. But no, and you have all that monkey mind comes in, no, who do you think you are? And all this stuff that keeps the dream stuff down. But don't let that happen. Don't ever squelch your own dream, whatever that is, as big as you can think. If you want to achieve, diamond status or whatever the top level is, emerald in your in business, and you see yourself on stage and receiving awards, and just keep on believing. And like you said, Terry, earlier, what other people think of you, none of your business. Let them think whatever they want.
That's right.
Stay true to you and keep marching on, and really live your life by example. And you can do that now more than ever through social media, having that consistent, congruent presence. And I'll tell you what, Terry, the greatest compliment people can ever pay me is when I meet them in person. Maybe I've known them a long time through Facebook, and I meet them and they go, "You're exactly like I thought you would be. You're exactly like and I'm like, "Thank you. Good. I'm glad. That's music to my ears, because there's no other different Maris. I'm me 100%.
What you see is what you get, right?
Yep. I'm a WYSIWYG gal.
I love it. Mari, thank you so much. Any other closing thoughts or comments you'd like to share?
Well, we'll see you on Facebook. If anybody has any questions at all, they're welcome to pop them on facebook.com/Mari Smith. I get there as much as I can. I actually need to add someone to my team that's at least as knowledgeable about Facebook as I am, or train them up to be, so they can answer more questions for me.
Well, thank you so much again, Mari, for everything that you do. I just think it's such an exciting time right now with where we are in the evolution of Facebook and social media, and really appreciate you spending some time, because I know you touched some people today, and I've got goosebumps again just even sharing that with you, because I know you touched me, and I love the fact that you're such a giver and you always over deliver. So for those of you who are watching this, if you got any comments or questions, you can leave them below. Go see Mari on her Facebook page. She's got an awesome blog, marismith.com. And I highly recommend you going to Amazon and getting Facebook Marketing. It's fantastic, fantastic book. Have a fantastic day, everybody. And remember this, you have a choice. So make it a better than a terrific day. Take care. Talk to you soon, guys. Bye-bye.